So let us cover the logs monitoring and the JMS monitoring. Okay. So for logs, we have a standard folder with the name of logs. Okay. This will be inside the each server's staging directory. And the staging directory is you have to go to your domain servers. Inside servers folder, you will have a folder with the name of server for each and every managed server, right? And inside that you will have a log folder. And we have a different kind of a log files there. For example, the first log file with the name of managed server dot out. So this dot out file is created when we start our managed servers with the help of Node Manager, right? So every time you start your managed server from the admin console, okay, it takes the help of Node Manager. So every time you're starting your managed server from the admin console, it will create the dot out file, and all the logs will be appended in this particular log file. Along with that, you have a standard log file with the name of the server dot log. Okay, and apart from that, you will have an excel.log file where all the HTTP request that your WebLogic received is get logged in your excel.log files. Okay, and along with that, one important folder is there with the name of diagnostic underscore images. So this will be a directory, and what is the use of that, I will tell you. Okay, so these are the certain standard log files that we always use for the troubleshooting. Okay, we always look for the .out and .log files for the access log. If we are troubleshooting certain kind of a web request, then we look for the access.log files. Okay, and this diagnostic images is used when we when we capture the diagnostic image from the admin console. So what does it mean? Let me tell you. So first I will tell you the location where this file is get created. So this is the server. Okay, let me show you again. So first you have to go to your servers. Inside server, click on your server name, click on login, and then click on diagnostic image. Right. So in the general, we configure the generic .log file, right? And in the HTTP, we configure the access log file. And inside the diagnostic images, we configure the diagnostic image path. Okay, so what is the mean of that? So this is the diagnostic image path, which is the default, your server staging directory, then logs, and then diagnostic images. Okay, so let me show you this on server as well. So I am inside my domain directory. I will go inside the servers. I will go inside first server, then logs. So here you can see there is a folder with the name of diagnostic image. So if I go here, I do not have any content here as of now. Okay, so how we generate the diagnostic images? So what exactly is diagnostic image is that? So when we capture the diagnostic image from the admin console, it look for the multiple subsystems of your WebLogic server for that particular server or managed server which we are running it. Okay, and they capture important information about the subsystem. For example, the information about your JVM heap, or information about your data source, information about your JMS subsystem. So similarly, we have multiple subsystems in your WebLogic. So it capture all the important critical informations that you can use for the analysis. Okay, so let me quickly show you. You go to the admin console and then go to your diagnostics. Inside the diagnostic, you have to go to the diagnostic images. Okay, so once you will click on diagnostic images, it will show you the option for each and every server. Okay, for example, I would like to create the diagnostic image or capture for manage server 1. So select the server and click on capture image. Okay, so again, it is completely based on the kind of application or resources that you have configured in your domain and targeted to your managed server. So based on that, it is going to take some time to capture the image. And this is the destination directory it is showing, which we have seen just some time back inside the servers folder and the logging tab, right? You want to change, you can change it here as well. If you would like to create it some different location. Okay. And then your timeout is specified 1. Okay. Your dynastic image will wait for 1 second only. Now click on OK. You can see the dynastic image has been captured successfully, and here you can see the status it is executing. Okay, that means it is capturing the image. So now you can see it is completed. That means the diagnostic image has been captured. You click on that one, it will show you the complete location, the name of file. Okay, and now let me go to the location. So here earlier there nothing was there. Now you can see there's one zip file is created. You can unzip this diagnostic file. Okay, and here you can see there are multiple subfiles are created with respect to the each and every subsystem. For example, this is for the JMS, this is for the cluster, this is for the deployment, this is for the connector. If you have any for JTA, for persistent stores, okay, for JVM. So there are multiple information that has been captured here in your different files. Okay, so for example, I just check for the jdbc.txt file. So I have only one data source. So it is taking only one data source and it is capturing the important information. What is the current capacity and what is the last successful connection use, and then similar other parameters what we have seen from the console as well. Okay, so all this information will be captured here as well, along with multiple more information. Okay, similarly, you look for the different XML or TXT files where the other multiple data has been captured, right? So this is the way how we can use the different log files, and then how we can use the diagnostic images as well during the troubleshooting purpose. Okay. Now, if we talk about the JMS monitoring, so what exactly we have learned about the JMS and what we have seen in the practical sessions, it is a messaging system where two applications want to communicate to each other. So it works as a mediator. So that if your destination application is not available, okay, maybe so you can place the information in the middle system, and then whenever your destination is available, it will pick the message from the JMS. So basically, it used for the asynchronous transmissions or the message exchange, right? So now when we talk about the message transfer, that means in the GMS system, you are getting a lot of messages. Okay. So now based on the logic that you have configured or based on the availability of destinations, you may see the multiple messages in your JMS systems. Okay, which will be displayed inside your monitoring for what is the current number of messages, what are the different pending messages, what are the total number of messages that has been received in your systems. Okay, what is the total number of consumer count who can able to consume the messages from your JMS. So these kind of information that you can monitor in the JMS. Okay, so let me quickly show you as well. So for that, you have to go to your admin console. You can go to your messaging and then go to JMS module, right? So this we have seen in the practical sessions as well, where we have configured the queue, right? So click on JMS module. So here it will display all the resources that has been configured inside this particular JMS module. Now, for example, I would like to monitor my queue. So click on the queue name, then monitoring tab. So here you can see the current number of current messages. If you have any pending messages, if you have any, what is the total number of messages since the server was restarted last time, total number of consumers, total number of consumers high. So these kind of important information you can see here. So this is the messages pending count. Okay, that means whatever the number messages that is in your JMS queue as of now, which is in pending state. Okay, maybe ready for the consuming, or maybe your consumers are still working to consume the messages. So this is one of the important parameter that we monitor mostly in the JMS. What is the total number of messages pending? Okay, and in the real time, it has to fluctuate. That means the messages are coming to a JMS and they are getting picked by the destination. So the count will be zigzag. Okay, it should not be in the upward direction. It should be up and down. So if the message pending count is your monitoring, if it is going up and down, that means the system is good because the messages are coming and it is getting consumed by the destinations, right? But many times it has happened that you will see a lot of messages in the pending count, and the consuming count will be very less. Okay, maybe thousands of messages are coming in your queue, where the message pending count is getting increased drastically, and the consumption ratio is very less. So what happened is that your inflow is very high in comparison with the message that is getting picked by your destinations. So if this is the case where inflow is very high, then you have to control your inflow to match with the frequency the destinations are consuming from your JMS queue. So similarly, you can have a multiple kind of a different kind of a situations where we look for these parameters. Okay, so now here you can see the message current count is 5 as of now. In this queue, I have 5 current messages. Okay, so I have a sample application. So what I will do, I will push some messages in the queue, and then I will show you the current count here. Okay, so let me go to the server. So inside the domain, I have sample code here. Okay, so let me run this sample code to push few messages. Okay, in the queue. Let me go here. Let me run it. Okay, and I will enter some messages. Digitalk systems. Okay, and then I will enter quit. Okay, and let me show you the count again. So if I refresh the screen here, okay, let me go back and let me check on the monitoring. Now you can see the message count is 8 now. So it was earlier 5. So I have pushed 3 messages. The first one was Digitalk, second is systems, third is quit. Right? So now the count has been increased to current. Okay, and the message total is showing 3, which is the 3 messages that has been pushed right now, and 5 messages were there earlier. And the message hide count is 8. That means the total number of messages that have been created in this particular queue since the system has been restarted, it is now 8. Right? And the same you can monitor from the JMS server as well. You can go to JMS server because we target our queues, okay, to the particular JMS server. So you can click on JMS server, and if you click on the monitoring, okay, so here you can see this is the demo server 1 to which this JMS server has been targeted. Okay, and this is going to list the messages specifically related to the queue, because this queue which we have been monitoring is targeted to this particular JMS server, and this JMS server is attached to demo server 1. So you can monitor this from here as well. Okay, what we have been seeing here inside JMS module, and then inside the queue, okay, inside the monitoring. Okay, if you would like to check the messages, or you can say the content of messages, you can click here, you can select the destination, click on show messages. Okay, so here are the different messages you can see here, and date and time when it was created. And if you click on some specific message, okay, here it will show you the multiple details with respect to that, and here you can see this is the message, and the same we have given here when we enter the data. This is the second message that we have given after Digitalk, which is systems, okay, which is displaying here, right? And similarly, if you go back and you would like to check for some other messages, you can go back and click on that one. See, this is a Digitalk, right? So this is the way how we can view the different log files, how we can create the diagnostic images from the console, and then how we can monitor the JMS in WebLogic. Let me quickly show you how you can view these messages, okay, from the WLST as well. Okay, so again, go to the common bin folder to execute the WLST script. Okay, we run wlst.sh command. After that, we are going to connect to the running admin server. It is connected now. So now, let me go back. Let me go to domain runtime. Then we have to navigate to a specific ambient folder. Okay, this we have seen how to navigate all these folder, right? Previously for the JVM heap and then for some other subsystems. So in the same way, we have to only differentiate between the name of the ambient folder for the JMS. Okay, so let me copy paste it here. Let me take it. And let me CD here. Okay, now you can see that we are in the corresponding JMS ambient. And now if you do the listing here, okay, you can able to see all the details here. You can see the message current count, message receive count. Okay, so all these details along with few more information, okay, you can see here. So this is the way how you can validate it with the help of WLST. Okay, and if you would like to do a certain kind of automation where you want to check all this information with the help of a script, then follow the same process that I have explained previously.